Hello, good afternoon. My name is Kenton Chance of Eyewitness News, and I'm coming to you live just outside the J.F. Mitchell Airport here in Paget Farm, Beckway, where earlier today, sometime around noon, a small aircraft that is said to be privately owned took off from this airport and never made land again, regrettably. Four people we've been able to confirm from witnesses who retrieved the body died in that aircraft. Based on what I was told after my visit here to Beckway, witnesses said that they heard the aircraft depart from the airport right behind me, and a few minutes after it departed, they heard what they describe as a sputtering sound, and the aircraft continued to travel for a few moments more. They heard another sputtering sound, and then they said that they saw the aircraft plunge nose first into the waters of this part of Beckwith. Divers who were at the fisheries complex located located here in Paget Farm, Beckwith, responded. They took up their gears and they went to the area. And after a few moments, they were able to locate the aircraft. And they said, one of them who we spoke to said that they saw four people inside of the aircraft, all strapped in their seat belts, still on, and they were dead. Well, they presumed that they were dead, and they were subsequently pronounced dead by the medical practitioners. The people who we spoke to, they're really affected by this tragedy. Two of the divers said that one of the gentlemen who died in that regrettable crash had taught him, or two of them taught them to dive. They said that he operated a dive center here in Beckway. And they said he was the pilot of the aircraft. And in addition to him, there was another adult male and two what they described as young girls or young females. And the residents of the area, the fishermen, the local fishermen and the local divers, they went down. They said that the wreckage of the aircraft is located about 60, 70 feet underwater, and they retrieved the bodies and handed them over to the local Coast Guard. I barely got onto the ferry from Kingston to Beckway at 1 p.m. And when we arrived there just around 2, there were two Coast Guard vessels in the harbor. There were some blue bags that we presumed were body bags, and the Coast Guard personnel were moving the bags from one vessel to the other. And it appears as though a person who I presume is a medical practitioner was doing the formalities. But the people here in Beckway, especially the young males, the young divers, they're really thrown up by what has happened here with this aircraft. We haven't had any official statement, at least just before I came on to do this broadcast. Up to that time, I hadn't seen any official statement, or the last time I checked, I hadn't seen any official statements from the authorities. But based on what I have found from my visit here to Beckway, the divers said that they can confirm that an aircraft is in about 60, 70 feet of water. It has been anchored to something to sort of prevent it from drifting away. And they said that they've retrieved 4 bodies from that aircraft, 2 adult males and 2, the impression I got that they're either young girls or adolescent females, were removed from the wreckage of the aircraft and handed over to the Coast Guard personnel, or there was some collaborative effort in retrieving the body. So that is essentially the story here in Beckway, in Paget Farm, Beckway. When we got here shortly after 2 p.m., it was really quiet, and one could not have told if one did not know that something that tragic had happened on this island in the northern Grenadines. But when we spoke to people, it's really obvious to me from their responses that they're really affected by this. So one of the gentlemen who I spoke to, I'd interviewed him a few years ago for a story. He immediately recognized me. He spoke to me very politely, very cordially. But he said, look, I can't speak to you on this one. One of the gentlemen who died, he taught me to dive, and I just can't speak on this. One of the other divers that I spoke to, this gentleman who died in the crash, had also taught him to dive. I understand that he ran some sort of diving operation here in Bequia, and he was a pilot, and he had 3 passengers on board. And from what we're hearing from witnesses is that people heard the aircraft depart from the airport, which is right behind me here. This is the J.F. Mitchell Airport in Paget Farm, Bequia. They heard the aircraft depart from the airport. One person who I spoke to, who's ex-military, he said that it appeared that the aircraft had not gotten to its cruising altitude when they began hearing this sputtering sound. The aircraft traveled a little bit for a few moments more, and then they heard a sputtering sound again. And the next thing they knew, that the aircraft was plunging into the sea, nose first, presumably killing all 4 persons on board. But what we can confirm is that based on what the divers have said to us, the bodies of 4 people, 2 adult males and 2 females, either young girls or adolescent girls. I didn't get the impression that they are adult females, were met strapped into the aircraft in about 60 or 70 feet of water. They said that they responded pretty quickly. One of the divers said that, after they heard the sputtering sound of the aircraft, they began to pay attention to it, and it really caused an alarm, it seems, among them, and they were prepared to respond in case something happened. And regrettably, something did happen when the aircraft plunged from the sky and into the sea. And the result is that 4 people were found, the bodies of 4 people were found in that aircraft, still wearing their seatbelts, we are told. So this is Kenton Chance. I'm coming to you live from Paget Farm, Bequia. I was able to get onto the boat very quickly after getting this, the initial confirmation that there had been a crash here. And for those persons who are offended by the strong language in the video, it's regrettable that we took the decision to publish the video. We didn't have the luxury of time of editing out the swear word that is in there. But as you can appreciate, somebody it's one thing for us who's looking at a video after the shot, but it's something else for somebody to stand, I presume, and see an aircraft plunging out of the sky and into the sea. The presumption, of course, is that there are human beings on board, and that's just how that person who filmed that and who witnessed it responded. And some people are making a comment about somebody saying, well, I got it on tape. I mean, to be honest with you, even as a trained professional, if I were to film something like that, I probably would say to a colleague, well, look, I got it on tape. Because it's not something that you see every day. We do appreciate that these are 4 people, the lives of 4 people, and families affected by this. We were given at least one name, a full name of one of the persons on board that aircraft. We're not going to release it. We don't think it's proper for us to do so because we don't know if the families of those affected have been formally informed, and I don't think it's appropriate for me to say what that name is until I get some sort of confirmation that the relatives and the next of kin of those informed, those affected, those who lost their lives, have been properly informed. So that is what I have for you based on the information that I've gathered from my visit here to Paget Farm, Bequia. For those of you who might not be from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Bequia is an island in our archipelago. It's located in the Grenadines, in the northern Grenadines. It is it's closest to Kingstown, an hour by ferry from Kingstown. And later today, I would have a story for you on our website, iwnsog.com, and that is pretty much it for me from Bequia. But just to say, and as I wrap up, I would turn the camera around so that you can get a view. So this is the airport here in Bequia, the J.F. Mitchell Airport, and this is Paget Farm, Bequia. Bequia is a very beautiful Grenadine island, but today it has seen tragedy when an aircraft crashed shortly after departure from this airport. This is the aerodrome right here. I'm just outside the fence, and you can see another aircraft is on the tarmac there. Since I came to Bequia, I saw an aircraft depart from here, And like I was saying, the local divers have said that after they responded to the aircraft plunging into the sea, they retrieved 4 bodies that were strapped into the aircraft, and the wreckage of the aircraft is anchored in about 60 to 80 feet of water, just off the coast of one of the islands here. And I presume that in the coming days and the coming hours and days that the authorities would have more for us on what has happened here in Becker. But this is Kenton Chance of Eyewitness News coming to you live from just outside the J.F. Mitchell Airport in Paget Farm, Bequia, from which an aircraft departed before plunging into the sea a few minutes after. Thank you very much for joining me.